Hi, I'm Sarah-Brooke Styles. Welcome back to my channel. I'm the Clinical Director of Mind Body Integrative Therapy. It's been a couple weeks since I've done a video. I have been thinking about different topics and just took a little rest after my 30 days of one video each day. Aside from having a gnarly sunburn on my face, a little update on me is I am adjusting into a much slower pace of life, which in some of my previous videos I shared that I was laid off of my job. And so I went from working a 50+ hour week to working maybe 15 hours a week. And it was a dramatic shift that felt like what I'd imagine a midlife crisis to feel like. And there was a lot of nerves and stress and sickness. I got sick for about 2.5 weeks. I think today makes 3 weeks that I first got sick, and I still have got it. A little bit of a cough, but doing much better. And so all to say, it has been a very full few weeks. And I wanted to make this video to really emphasize the positive elements that a morning routine can provide. I was finding myself really feeling lost pretty much every day, like waking up, and most of that time I was sick, so I was just like sitting on the couch that I'm looking over at. And it was a very uncomfortable feeling to just have this sense of feeling lost, this sense of kind of like dread. I don't know where my future is going. I don't know when I'm going to have a sense of normal because I didn't have a job to go back to when I got healthy. Being sick already like really throws you out of normal life. So there was just a lot of kind of dread, a ton of fear and anxiety. And I was just really craving some kind of structure, some kind of rhythm. I went from super structured, 50 hours a week working. You know, my son was in basketball 3 times a week, and we just had a system. The kids were in school, right? Summer was hitting. Summer hit in the last few weeks, which was another massive transition. So I went from this massive amount of structure to absolutely no structure. And it totally had me in a panic. And so as I was realizing, okay, there needs to be this balance between rhythm and flow, right? And I went from super rigid structure to it is a rushing river and there's no stopping its force. And so I really was craving a little bit of rhythm, and where I started was a morning routine. And I just want to share what that morning routine was in case you want to try a morning routine. I encourage you to figure out what really works for you. But I'll share what has worked for me. And I've done this morning routine for a little over a week, like 9 or 10 days, and it has been very helpful in just anchoring me in the morning, to center me in the morning, to reduce my cortisol levels of like, at least I know what I'm doing first thing when I wake up. And so what I do is I go make my coffee. And when my coffee's done, I sit in a very lighted room or outdoors, but I usually sit inside because there are a lot of people who like doing yard work in the morning. And I set my Insight Timer app. Insight Timer app is free if you want to download it. And they have a Tibetan singing bowl noise that you can set a timer of how long you want to meditate, and then You hit start and it dings the bell. I sit there for 10 minutes with my eyes closed and meditate, just in the quiet. I kind of just notice my thoughts passing, notice my emotions flowing, notice any sensations in my body. I'm reading this amazing book called The Laws of the Spirit by Dan Millman. Beyond recommend that to anybody and everybody. But in one of the chapters on the law of balance, it talks about this pond and like, is this pond, calm, or does it have ripples in it? And it probably totally doesn't make much sense in this context. But what I do when I meditate is I imagine this internal pond, and I can tell how calm it is or what is causing ripples, right? And most of the time what's causing ripples in my internal peaceful pond is my thoughts. So I just noticed that, and sure enough, most of the time, by the time I'm done with my meditation, 10 minutes of meditating, that internal pond has calmed. And then I read 1 to 2 chapters out of this book. It's amazing. It is not religious, but it has taken concepts out of a lot of different religions and a lot of different teachings, and it has pulled it into laws, concepts that are aligned in all religions and all teachings, for the most part. So there's the law of balance, the law of choices, law of process, presence, compassion, faith, expectation, integrity, action, cycles, surrender, and unity. I don't know about you, but I don't think there's any way to go wrong with those, with meditating on those concepts. So I read a chapter or 2 out of that. And then I also have another book that I did not bring in this room, so I can't show you. But it is kind of this journal, and it's very pragmatic. It's kind of like, hey, what goals would you like to accomplish? When would you like to accomplish them? And how do you start to accomplish them? And so one of my goals was like getting things hung up around the house on the walls, because we just moved in here 2 months ago, right before I got laid off. So many changes. And it actually was incredibly helpful to like give myself a timeline and just do it. And some of the goals I have on there have very different timelines. Like one of them is to join a dance group, like a adult dancing group. I used to dance in high school and college. Absolutely loved it. It was an amazing outlet for me. And so another goal is to join a adult dancing group by the end of this year. So for me, it really works to have this balance between like quiet, reading something that's really thought-provoking and deep and beautiful, and something I meditate on like literally throughout the day. And then something more pragmatic of like, okay, and now I'm gonna spend the next hour hanging shit on my walls. And it's gonna feel great. It does feel great. It's really nice to have things on the walls. So anyway, it does not matter what your morning routine consists of. I encourage you to think through what will work for you, and to try a morning routine to really anchor yourself and center yourself for your day. I would love to hear how that goes. Thanks for coming. See you soon.